Shell has welcomed the verdict of an appeals court in the Netherlands, which has dismissed a landmark judgment against the oil and gas company. In the original ruling in 2021, Shell had been ordered to cut its absolute carbon emissions by 45% by 2030, compared to 2019 levels, including those caused by the use of its products. Shell argued that the ruling would force it to shrink its business without any benefit to the fight against climate change, as customers would simply shift to other suppliers. Well, the court did agree that Shell has an obligation to cut its greenhouse gas emissions in order to protect people from global warming. So let's speak to our correspondent in The Hague, Anna Holligan, who joins us live now. So Anna, just to talk us through in layman's terms, what has been decided?
Oh, I was watching this judgment in Dutch, so I will translate it into English and then try to put it into layman's terms. You mentioned there, Kasia, the response from Shell. So according to Shell's interpretation of this appeals court decision, we no longer have to reduce emissions, Shell say, but we are doing. We remain committed, according to Shell, to becoming a net zero emissions energy business by 2050. This kind of all comes down to figures because according to the appeals court judges, they said that Shell does have an obligation towards citizens to limit CO2 emissions, and that obligation is based on the human right to protection from climate change. However, Friends of the Earth here in the Netherlands, Milieudefensie, had put a specific figure on that. They said, well, it should be reduced by 45% by 2030 compared to 2019 levels. And that's where this appeals court said that's not possible. They can't put a specific figure on it or compel Shell to reduce its emissions by a certain percentage because it says, running down this immense judgment, basically there isn't a figure that exists worldwide that has stated the exact amount that companies have to reduce their emissions by to comply. So because those figures don't exist, essentially, I hope this is layman enough, the court can't put a figure on it, and therefore it has rejected all of Friends of the Earth's requests.
It's so impressive you translating from Dutch into English what is really technical and then explaining it to us. Just in terms of Friends of the Earth Netherlands, they've been arguing that there was an international consensus that human rights offered protections against dangerous climate change. So is that arguably now not the case?
Well, let's just have a look at what Friends of the Earth have said in response, because that might help us to understand their position. So Friends of the Earth, Milieudefensie, on the Shell ruling, they say, headline, we will keep fighting the big polluters. The court has ruled in Shell's appeal that the oil and gas giant has a responsibility to reduce emissions, but has not imposed a reduction obligation. So Friends of the Earth's director here says this hurts. At the same time, we see that the case has ensured that major polluters have a responsibility, and it's fueled the debate about their responsibility in combating dangerous climate change. So, you know, it won't end here either, because this is about global corporate responsibility when it comes to CO2 emissions. And we're expecting Friends of the Earth, alongside the 17,000 citizens who supported them in bringing this case to appeal. So that will probably happen within the next 3 months. And then it could be years before the Supreme Court here in The Hague gives a final ruling in this case.
Anna, as always, thank you so much for bringing all of this to us. Anna Holligan there on that landmark case. Thank you so much, reporting from The Hague. Thank you.